Here I have the brand new Poco F8 Pro and the Poco F8 Ultra. And if you're unsure of which one of these two to get, you might feel a little bit like this. So to help you make your decision a little bit easier, I'm going to highlight the similarities and the more than 20 differences that these two very powerful phones have. And at the end, I'm going to be doing a very nerve-wracking benchmark test between these two. And the reason it's nerve-wracking is because when I did the F7 benchmark test, it actually didn't complete the test because it overheated. So I'm a little bit worried that that might happen, but who knows? Maybe they solved that problem now with new cooling systems. But first, let's kick this off with the design differences. First of all, here's what you get in the box with the Pro. Bunch of paperwork plus the charging cable and a silicone case. This one's nothing too flashy, it's just to protect the phone itself, and it's a flexible case. See if the Ultra is any different. Paperwork, charging cable, and an almost identical case. Now you might find this a little bit interesting. The drop rating here is B on the Pro, and it's actually A on the Ultra. The IP ratings, the repairability rating, and the battery lifespan seems to be the same, but there's a difference here, and we'll come back to what that is when we get into the specs. Okay, so first let's get a look at the Pro. And as you can see there, I have the blue one. And you'll notice the camera module right there is in the same shape as the very popular iPhone, but we do have this bit of Bose branding and a kind of clear glass layer. Yes, that shape right there is very similar to the iPhone, but it's nice to see they've made an effort to differentiate the design a bit. Now let's get a look at the Ultra. So that looks really nice. Again, we've got that similar iPhone camera plateau going on, but there are some big differences here. As you probably noticed on the packaging, they have collabed with Bose this time, and that is in fact a speaker right there. And if you look closely at the Ultra, this is actually all one piece of glass, even these little raised edges around the camera plateau. So some people will say that Poco have completely copied the design of the iPhone. And if we're being real, when it comes to the evolution of human intelligence, you do have to stand on the shoulders of giants from time to time. And the best companies at doing this are the ones that take a design and improve it. And in the case of the Ultra, I think they have done that with that additional element there on that plateau. And I'll tell you what I'll do to make this a little more interesting. I'll test how good it sounds versus the iPhone and also versus the Pro. When it comes to the Pro design, the power button, volume rocker are located on the right side, usual speaker grill, SIM tray on the base. Let's have a look if this is a dual SIM tray or if it has a memory card slot. Got that little rubber gasket around it just for that IP68 protection. And it has a dual SIM tray, no expandable memory, unfortunately. It does have speakers up top, so there are dual stereo speakers on this one. And if you're wondering what glass is used on the front, it's actually Corning Gorilla Glass 7i. Now the Ultra, same thing, power button, volume rocker on the right side, completely flat on the left side. You've got a nice bit of rounded corner here. So there is a difference in the finish on the back. So you've kind of got this frosted finish here on the Ultra, which is really quite nice. And this one's more of that glossy classic style finish. My guess is SIM tray will be exactly the same, but just double check. So again, just a dual SIM tray here, no expandable memory. Speaker grill on the top and on the bottom, USB-C charging port. And I really appreciate that they've toned down the branding on the back quite a bit compared to some of the previous models. And I do believe both of these phones have pre-installed screen protector. These things tend to leave so many fingerprints. I'm going to take them off for this video. Now, something that I was really happy to see during the setup of these two phones is that they both have Sonic in-display fingerprint readers because they're typically more secure and sometimes faster. I have customized these two phones just a little bit, and they're both running on HyperOS now, so there doesn't seem to be a Poco launcher anymore. And I have made an entire video which is tips and tricks for HyperOS. I'll link that at the end if you're interested in checking that out. So let's start with one very obvious difference. The Ultra has a 6.9 inch display, and it's a bit heavier because it's a bigger phone. It's 220 grams, and the Pro weighs in at 199 grams. And it's worth noting the weight 220 grams on the Ultra is the denim color. The black one, the one that I have here, is actually 218 grams. Now I kind of wish they sent me the denim version of the Ultra phone, because that one has a very unique material. It's nanotech material, but actually this one's pretty cool as well because it uses a lightweight glass fiber. And one big advantage for the Ultra is the fact that it has the Poco Shield glass, which is more durable than the glass on the Pro. Okay, now let's talk very quickly about the display similarities and differences. So both phones have an AMOLED 120Hz display with identical peak brightness of 3500 nits. For context, the current iPhone Pro Max has a peak brightness of around 3000, so we are talking about flagship level brightness here. Also, both displays have PWM dimming, which stands for pulse width modulation. Put very simply, this reduces the amount of screen flicker, which you might not notice, but it will help to reduce eye fatigue in the long run. One big advantage for the bigger phone is that it has a higher resolution of 2608 by 1200, which technically makes it a 2K display. The specs on the Pro display is still solid, 2510 by 1156, technically a 1.5K display. Now here's something quite interesting about both of the displays on these two phones. They are the first in the Poco lineup to use Poco's M10 luminescent material, which allows them to hit that higher peak brightness and at the same time improves the power efficiency of the displays by 11.4%. And that's in comparison to the previous gen Poco F7. And when it comes to battery power, both of these phones are no slouch at all. The Pro has a 6,210 milliamp hour battery. But of course, once again, the Ultra lives up to its name. It has a 6,500 milliamp hour silicon carbon battery. And you can kind of see here the difference that makes. Both of the phones were on 54% battery when I took them out of the box. And you can see there's a full hour and 35 minutes roughly more battery power on the Ultra. The charging speeds on both these devices are blisteringly fast at 100 watts via the wire. But here is another one up for the Ultra. It supports 50 watts wireless charging if you can get one of those chargers in your country. And unfortunately, the Pro does not support wireless charging at all. Okay, now for the moment that I've been waiting for, let's test out how good this Bose sound is and how much of a difference that little subwoofer makes on the back of the Ultra. Okay, here is how we're gonna do this. On the left is the Pro, in the middle is the iPhone, and then we have the Ultra with the 2.1 sound system with that additional Bose subwoofer. I will give you guys my honest opinion if I can hear a difference or not. So I'm just putting the microphone in place so that it's about arm's distance, the kind of distance you would use a phone at. So we're gonna start with the Pro. I'll just wait for the bass to drop a little bit. Really nice clarity in the highs and mid frequencies, not much bass. Now let's try the iPhone, same track. So let's get this queued up and volume to the maximum, just like we did on the Pro. Instantly more bass. Let's wait for this to drop. It's definitely clearer, more detailed than the Pro. All right, the moment of truth. Is the Ultra going to be able to one up the iPhone? We're about to find out. Let's get the volume maxed out. Instantly more depth in the audio than the iPhone and a lot more than the Pro. And it hasn't even dropped yet. Yeah. Honestly, this is the best bass that I've heard on a regular smartphone. Some gaming phones have really good speakers, but this is the best that I've heard on just a regular day-to-day smartphone. Okay, there's no shadow of a doubt in my mind that this speaker right here is the real deal. The bass levels are far superior to the Pro and massively better than the iPhone 2. And the clarity is as good, if not better than the iPhone. Okay, here is another difference that might not be that significant to you, but it's worth noting. The connectivity is slightly better on the Ultra because the Ultra has Bluetooth 6.0 and the Pro has Bluetooth 5.4. It's not going to make a massive difference to most devices that you use, but it does mean that the Ultra is more future-proof when it comes to Bluetooth connectivity. And here's a really awesome feature that both of these devices have. They both support Xiaomi's offline communications, which means even without a phone signal, these two devices can talk to each other at a range of 1 kilometer. Now let's talk about the camera differences, and this is an area where the Ultra really shines again. So the Poco F8 Pro has a solid primary camera. It is a Light Fusion 800 sensor, 1/1.55 inches. This is still considered a flagship grade sensor, but it is smaller than the Ultra's primary sensor. The sensor used here on the primary camera is also a Light Fusion sensor, but it's 1/1.31 inch, which makes it a physically larger sensor, which should mean that it's superior when it comes to low light photography. The Pro is equipped with a telephoto 2.5x zoom 60mm equivalent, which is definitely nice to have. But you know what's nicer than that? A true periscope optical zoom of 5x, giving you a 115mm equivalent zoom range. So if you don't want to sacrifice details at longer distances, the Ultra does have a pretty big advantage here. And there is one more big camera difference that you need to be aware of. The selfie camera on the Pro is 20 megapixels, which is still decent for a selfie camera, but the one on the Ultra is 32 megapixels. And here is a real swift blind camera comparison between these three phones. Pick your winner and then I'll reveal which one is which. Okay, now it's time to test the performance, and I really hope these phones make it through the 20-minute stress test that I'm about to put them through. And once it's done, I'll give it a little bit of a thermal imaging scan and show you guys where the heat goes inside these phones. But there is a couple of things you need to know about these before we do the stress test. While both of the phones do have a Snapdragon 8 Elite chip, the one in the Pro is a slightly older version, and the one in the Ultra is the latest and greatest as of right now, the Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 that was announced this year. The clock speed on the Pro is up to 4.32 gigahertz, and the clock speed on the Ultra is up to 4.6. And the Ultra has another secret weapon, which is a massive upgrade compared to the Pro. It is called the Vision Boost D8 chipset. It's a dedicated chip that's designed to improve the performance of the phone whilst handling graphics, and it can actually upscale games and things to 120 frames per second and even upscale resolution to 1.5K from regular HD. And the reason this is very significant is because this takes some of the workload away from the Snapdragon chip, and on paper that should technically give the Ultra pretty massive advantage when it comes to this benchmark test. Both phones use LPDDR5X RAM. You get 12 gigs here on the Pro and 12 gigs here on this version of the Ultra. However, you can get a 16 gig version of the Ultra if you need that extra RAM. Okay, so that's enough talk. Now it's the moment of truth. Let's get this benchmark test on the go. So I'm going to be using 3D Mark Extreme Stress Test. It's a 20-minute test, and it goes in waves, and we'll be able to look at the graph at the end to see how the battery's falling off, how the heat has risen, and where the performance starts to throttle. Oh, and at the end, we'll get a look at it with the thermal imager right here. Okay, disaster has struck. Okay, so my worst nightmare has come true, and unfortunately the Poco F8 Ultra did not complete the benchmark test. I'm not sure what loop it was on. I'll check when I'm editing the footage, but yeah, it's overheated. And one thing to keep in mind is that both of these phones are launch day phones. They're running the launch day software, and as these phones start to roll out and Poco start to get the user diagnostic back, they can fine tune the performance of the devices so that they don't overheat. So I wouldn't worry too much about it, but let me show you what the thermal reading looks like. You can see there where the Snapdragon 8 Elite is, that's the little red cross right there. The heat is moving down the device, but it's just not moving down quick enough to cool it to the point where it has to shut down to protect itself. So yeah, that's how it looks right now. Maybe I'll do a future thermal imaging benchmark test and see where the heat goes once they optimize the software. So that is unfortunate, but at least we get to see where the Pro gets to, and actually it's on loop 18, so it's nearly finished. 2 loops to go. All right, so the test is now complete. Let's get the thermal imaging. Okay, so you can see there where the temperature is the hottest, but even at its hottest point, it's under the 44 degrees. So it's much cooler than the Ultra got, and the heat is nice and smoothly running down the back of the phone. And this could be due to the fact that the previous Snapdragon Elite has been more thoroughly tested and the software for it has been more fine-tuned over time. Okay, just to give you some useful information to take away from these benchmark tests, even though we didn't complete the 20-minute one here, I ran the single wildlife loop and both of them maxed out. Really impressive. But what's even more impressive is how fast the Ultra was running the frames per second. The highest frames per second on the Pro is 180. The highest here is 187. But the lowest on the Ultra is 103, which is crazy because the lowest on the Pro is 54, nearly half. And during this benchmark test, both phones lost 1% of battery. And very interestingly to me, the Pro actually got hotter than the Ultra on a single loop. Anyway, let me know if you guys want to see a follow-up benchmark test with thermals once these phones have had a few updates. Okay, so if I was going to choose between these two phones, I think I'd still go for the Ultra. It's got amazing sound. It's an absolute beast. It's not just 1 or 2 specs better than the Pro. There are so many upgrades on this one. Let me know what you think of these two phones. Which one would you go for? And if you guys want to deep dive into HyperOS software, check out this video right here.